Well, Ghana is in the midst of a debt crisis as it recovers from the worst economic period in a generation. In the midst of that, it may adopt one of Africa's harshest bills restricting LGBTQ plus rights. The country's Supreme Court is expected to rule on that next week. The country's finance ministry says that the law could lead to a loss of nearly $4 billion in World Bank funding over the next 5 or 6 years. Well, at the IMF meeting last week, our Richard Quest spoke to Ghana's finance minister, Mohammed Amin. They spoke about the pending law, but began with Ghana's effort to reform its economy.
Economic reform is robust, and we are implementing a lot of structural reforms, including expenditure side reforms, as well as revenue side reforms. For example, revenue is doing well. Last year, revenue grew by about 40%. This year is expected to grow by another 29%. This is because we had to front load our fiscal consolidation with revenue measures which are doing well. And I am very confident that we will exceed our revenue target this year and beyond. Because of this, we are also holding expenditure. I'm holding the line on expenditure so that we do not engage in extra budgetary spending.
You've still got to have big meetings with the fund and with the bank. What are you going to be asking?
Well, I want to assure them that the program is on course. The IMF-supported program is on course. We are not going to deviate from the program.
Because there are fears that you will deviate.
We will not deviate, and we have not deviated since the program started. And the figures show that we are not deviating. We are religiously implementing, and we are also implementing reforms, structural reforms that will build our resilience and that will ensure that we do not go back to the challenges that we faced.
When you meet the World Bank, you'll have a few more problems though, won't you? Particularly convincing the World Bank not to withdraw aid if the anti-LGBT law is signed into law. Your own ministry has produced a rather damning document showing the economic implications if the president signs it into law.
Well, I mean, as manager of the economy, any law that we have to pass as a country, I'm interested in the potential economic challenges that will be associated with that law. And so we had to do our impact analysis, and that shows that the economy will be affected. But Ghana, like many other countries, have values that they want to protect. In spite of these values, we are a democratic country. And therefore, if any law infringes on the human rights of the people, it has to be taken for consideration by the Supreme Court. So this is one law that has gone to the Supreme Court by 2 Ghanaians for determination. And to the effect that it infringes on the human rights of the people, the president will take a decision on that.
You voted for the law?
Yes, I voted for the law.
You voted for the law as a member of parliament?
Yes, because it was unanimous, yes.
It was, yes. So you voted for the law, even though as finance minister, you knew it was going to have a detrimental effect on the economy?
Yes, I was not in parliament that day, but once parliament has voted for the law, it means that all of us have voted. That is the extent to which I said I voted for the law. But as manager of the economy, whether I vote for the law or not, I have responsibility to tell my president and the people of Ghana what the economic impact of that law will be.
Right. But here's the difficult part for you. Whether you were present or not, you voted for the law because you didn't vote against it.
Yeah.
Therefore, as finance minister, you are now in the position of saying to the people, by the way, that law that I voted for, it's going to cost us, 4 billion over 5 years from loans, and it's going to make the country highly undesirable in many places.
Yes, absenteeism from parliament doesn't mean voting. But once parliament has voted,
so why were you absent?
I was out of town. I was
on an important vote like this, Minister, you chose to be out of town.
Because I'm equal handling more important issues outside the country on behalf of the country.
More important than an issue of $5 billion in aid?
Yes.
One question finally on this, Minister. You will, of course, your researchers will have told you in no uncertain terms that obviously as a gay man myself, I am totally and absolutely, utterly opposed to the law in your country. How does it harm your society if if LGBT people are allowed to have relationships? How does it harm it? Just tell me, because I don't know.
Well, I mean, as I said, Ghana is a democratic country. Our constitution is supreme. people have right to decide what they want to do as far as it is within the confines of the law. And therefore, the anti-LGBTQ law, to the extent that it infringes on the rights of people,
Minister,
the Constitution of
this
Ghana
isn't just,
will prevail.
Minister, this is a law
Yes.
that criminalizes same-sex, it criminalizes the promotion of LGBT, and even the organizations in favor of LGBT.
I have to tell you that it is not a law yet. It is a bill which the president has to assent to. But 2 Ghanaians have taken it to court, challenging the constitutionality of the bill.
Right.
And therefore, it cannot become a law until the Supreme Court has done its determination, and then the president has assented to it.